This is Jamie Drummond for Good Food Revolution, as always. I'm here with Elizabeth Minett. We're sitting in the square of I guess we're in Stratford right now, in Perth County. How are you today?
Well, I'm just fine and dandy. It's a bit chilly outside, but keeping warm.
So, Elizabeth, please explain a little bit about what you do with regards to your website and your blog, and why you chose to follow that path.
I think blogs have become a bit narcissistic to begin with. Everybody's giving their own opinion of what they think of some food or restaurant or whatever. But my blog mostly is just to share my recipes, my ideas with people. It's really just an expression of sharing with my readers and my family and friends. And I work as a fashion model. I've been fortunate enough to get to travel, and I've been able to taste different foods and wines from kind of all over, Europe, North America at least. And the food blog Hautappetit, which is sort of a play off of haute couture, and then Hautappetit, which is French for good taste. It was born out of my love for baking, in particular desserts, and a very good friend of mine in London from Switzerland, I would bake for him all the time, would send cookies and cakes and everything just to keep them extra sweet, and because the Swiss sometimes can be a bit straight. Anyway, he said, well, Elizabeth, you should start a blog, because I gave him these cookies that posted the name of the cookies on Facebook, and then he had all these comments from friends, oh, what's the recipe, I love this, and he joked, you should start a blog, which I did, and so yeah, that's kind of how it came about.
Do you have, like you said, recipes? There are lots of recipes on your blog?
There are. I have recipes. I have mostly dessert recipes. I love my sweets, especially chocolate, and I have a soft spot for cupcakes, which is a bit cliche, but I do. I have some vegan, gluten-free recipes on there. And yeah, I do reviews for cafes or bakeries that I try, and also fashion. I love my fashion, and so I'm putting that in there as well.
So how do you integrate the fashion and the food elements?
Well, I think it's an interesting concept, having food and fashion as one, because normally they're not seen together, and fashion magazines, and certainly in the modeling world, you're not supposed to talk about food that much. It's sort of a hush-hush thing, I don't eat that much. So I think being able to express your enjoyment and love for food in this industry that's known, for being sort of counter food or counter eating in a lot of ways, it's just sort of an interesting concept to have the two together.
So when it comes to wine, what's your take on all of that?
Well, I'm not really a wine snob, but I just like to keep it simple with my wines. I love red wine. My favorite is a good Rioja.
Really?
Spanish red. I love Spanish red. And then Argentinian Malbec.
I saw you do that
which
today.
I just had.
No, you walked in and like, well, I'd like some Argentinian.
Can you tell? I think maybe I have red teeth right now.
When you were a young lady, what kind of food was important to you? And with your family, what kind of things were important? Like, what did you actually grow up with when it came to food?
Food was always a big thing in my family, certainly. I have 3 older brothers, so there was always lots of food in the house, lots of eating. And my mother has Norwegian and Russian heritage, so you'd always have sort of a mishmash combination of Northern, Eastern European food. Borscht is one of the things that comes to mind that my mom would always make when I was ill, or in the wintertime. I remember that hearty warmth of the beets in that soup. We also had a lot of pickled herring, which is very Northern European.
Do you still eat that to this day? Like, do you still really? So
Yes.
do you buy pickled herring and eat it
I
at home?
do.
Really?
To the shock and dismay of my friends. I don't know. There's one of my favorite restaurants in New York is this Russian restaurant called Marivana, and they do a good borscht, so I go there now and then. But yeah, we always had, you know, the pumpernickel bread and, you know, salmon blinis with caviar now and then on special occasions. So, yeah, we always had a lot of food in the house, a lot of sweets too. My mom and my aunts were always baking lots of treats and cakes and things like that. So, yeah, a lot of good memories with food.
Do you eat cake every day? Because you don't look as if you do.
I have either cake or chocolate, maybe 3 or 4 times a week. I eat a lot of gluten-free vegan desserts now as well. There are good gluten-free desserts, okay? There really are. Read my blog. I've talked about many bakeries in New York City now that are making delicious gluten-free cupcakes and things.
What does good food mean to you?
Good food means good quality produce, organic, locally grown, real whole food, and also food that has been made with love. And that sounds cheesy, but it's really true. It's the most important ingredient. You've got to put love into that meal if you're making it for somebody. Okay.
Thank you very much for joining us at Good Food Revolution this afternoon. I'm sorry I'm half in the bag.
That's all right.
I'll see you tomorrow.